So there you have it. Altona Magic are the champions of Victorian soccer for 1995. And I think you'll agree that's one of the most outstanding finals that we've seen in recent years. Nick Georgopoulos with an absolutely world-class goal in the second half to equalise, and John Markovski scoring the winner 1 minute into extra time. And before we talk further about the game, I'd like to welcome our studio audience here, and amongst the studio audience, victors of the Altona Magic side. Please, everybody here, give them a big round of applause. The champions of Victoria. And Greg, I think you'll agree that was one of the best games that you and I have had the pleasure of calling together.
Oh, well, don't understate it, mate. It was the best grand final I've ever seen, fair dinkum, bar none. Congratulations to Altona Magic. Bulleen Lions made it a great day. Look at Eugene Brazzali, the referee. Well, he tried hard. Magnificent afternoon for football and everybody in Olympic Park. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and a real fairy tale come true. Ian Dobson really stamped himself as a coach of some calibre. He's taken this club from the mire, from the depths, Paulie, and he's pulled them up there, the champions of Victoria. They'll be fishing them out of the sewers at Paisley Park.
Despite his robotic tendencies.
Well, we've got to get onto that robotic element of the game, and I know John Shocker Miles will be taking his licks a little bit later, but before we do that, good folks at home, I want something you all look forward to, and that's, of course, Paulie's very public pulling. It's the last pulling of the season. Whoops-a-daisy. And, of course, this is where we piff the Bulleen Lions jersey. We do this with respect, but by golly, we're going to do it.
Mention to the sponsor since they're on the losing side, but sorry, Bulleen. Altona Magic, the champions.
Gone to the Wolves. So that's the end of the story. Before we do anything else, Paulie, I know this is very important too. They paid the bills. Got a couple of sponsors to acknowledge, and then we're going to go out and talk to Shocker Miles, who's out there amongst the animals tonight.
We have some great sponsors, and we really appreciate all their input and their income into the soccer show as well. Bayswater Indoor Soccer Centre and Clothing Shop, fine supporters of soccer in Victoria. Acqua Minerale, Cettosa, Italia's best mineral water. That's it. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And Evo's Pizza, the best in High Street, Thornbury. And Evo, if you're watching the show, get a few more pizzas in because we've run out of food. All right.
Yeah.
Shocker Miles, is he out there? I can see him somewhere.
Where's Shocker?
I'm over here. I'm taking my licks, by the way, don't worry about it. I've got my best friend here, a guy I've always admired for the last 25 years.
That's appalling, John.
Excuse me, Blakey. I've taken my licks, as you said. I got a 4-arm smash with John Markovski, if you've seen on the screen. And I'm taking legal action. My solicitors, Morgan Miller and Moore, will be in touch tomorrow. But I must congratulate Ian Dobson and Tom Markovski and all the other Altona Magic guys, because there was a little bit of a game plan. It wasn't Laurie Schwab's, it was Ian Dobson's. He says, Shocker, I need something to lift these guys for the last game, the final. Can you G them up? And I did it, Dobbo. Did our plan work? And congratulations, pal.
Thanks for your comments. My plan worked, yours didn't. Unlucky, Shocker. But I'll tell you something, I was a little bit worried there, in the extra time there, because I felt the batteries were running out of my robotic players. There was a few boys going down with cramp, and I thought the terminals had got mixed up a little bit, but fixed them up, came back strong, and took the game.
Well, thank you very much, Dob. I've just been punished again there. But Tom Markovski, did the boys take my comments too serious, or do you think they just shrugged them off?
I think, to put it mildly, they were peeved off at you, and I did promise that if we did win, I had 3 words for you, and they were up yours, Shocker.
Well, there's a lot of... Blakey, I'll tell you what, we've also got the guy who won the Jimmy Rooney medal here. Is he here?
And what about a round of applause for him too, Chris Epsowski. Great.
Well, I've got to move over here because, as you know, my life's always been treated and walking down paths with stars, and I've always been the nurturer of stars. There's a couple of guys over here I'm going to speak to later on, Nick Van Egmond from the Bayswater Indoor, because my dad used to take me to see him playing, and I'm proud he's still involved in soccer. Chris, fantastic, and great to get a medal from the likes of a guy called Jimmy Rooney.
Yes, on a personal note, it's a great achievement for me, but I wouldn't have done it without Ian Dobson and the Altona Magic boys. I mean, we won the grand final, so if they didn't play well, I wouldn't have played well. That's the way I looked at it.
Well, you've done very well. Did my comments inspire you at all? Do I get a little bit of credit here, dear?
Yeah, of course they did. I mean,
proper hero, very talkative hero, Blakey, isn't he? Would you like to ask him a question? Because I know you're like myself, you're in awe of these great superstars.
Well, I am actually. Chris, a fantastic performance today by the team. There is no time in the last 2 years that a team coached by Peter Ollerton has come from behind. What was I saying? There's no time. Peter Alton's teams don't go a goal up twice and still lose a game. It was the most remarkable comeback, and that's what will always be memorable. What sparked the comeback? I mean,
I suppose I knew we had it in us. Like at half-time, like the boys were still G'd up, you know, like before the game, like we were. We stuck to our plans, I think, you know. And credit to the boys and credit to the coach, because like we didn't lose our heads or anything. We just still peppered away at them, and it came out on top. And that's about it, really.
Laurie, you got a question?
Yeah,
for
one thing that the other people here might not know is that Chris won Altona Magic's Best and Fairest Award last week. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, I think so, wasn't it?
And your first season at Altona Magic after coming there from North Geelong, so tremendous effort.
Thanks.
And for all you people at home that want to go and make a little bit of a cup of tea and have a toasty sandwich, Laurie will do some more stats in a minute, so this is your time in the count. I think, Blakey, you want to ask Dobbo a question, because he had the team well oiled up today, didn't he?
I have no idea what you're alluding to, Shocker, but yeah, I would, Ian, was there at any point, I mean, even going into half-time, you were 2-1 down, that you were concerned? I mean, even when I spoke to you after the game, you seemed fairly certain that there was never a crisis time, but by geez, I would have been worried.
No, well, I wasn't worried about the game in such that we went 2-1 down. I was disappointed to go in at half-time at that stage, a goal down, but I was quite happy we'd have gone in at 1-1. I felt there was a couple of areas needed to be fixed up at half-time, and I was quite looking forward to going in and talking to the boys and fixing those problems up, feeling then that we would get stronger in the second half and extra time. As it wasn't, I had to fix it up with two goals to 1 down. I had to fix those problems up. But as Chris said, really, we didn't change our game plan. We actually continued that, but we actually got stronger by solving 1 or 2 problems that was happening, particularly down our left-hand side where their 2 goals had come. That had to be tightened up. But it was a matter of then progressing with the pre-match plan where we would run at them through our midfield and also get the width into our game. And I felt that's where they were vulnerable. Unfortunately, we got that second goal, which it wasn't the winner, but that to me was like the winner, because once we got that second goal, that won the game for me.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think Nicky's up there somewhere hiding away. We've got to ask him about that, whether he just closed his eyes and belted it or whether he meant it. But that second goal for Altona Magic, it really did change the complexion of the game. We haven't got the Bulleen crew in tonight. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. But I know after the game, Peter Alton was fairly scathing about the way the goal came about, pointed the finger at a couple of people. Why don't we get the Altona Magic point of view? Shocker, what are you doing?
Well, we've mentioned one of the young stars of the Altona Magic team, but what about one of the veteran stars, one of the 10 men? Paul Harris. He used to be a music man as well. Paul, the legs were going a bit there in extra time?
Yeah, the legs and the heart, I think, Shocker. So, and the hair. So I was just pleased, you know, when the second goal went in, it was a great feeling, and I thought we were on top at that time. And I thought what did it for us today was the younger players in the side, and we had runners, and perhaps we run the legs off them, I think, during that second period, and it just progressed from there.
When you say we, Paul,
well, not so much himself, but
you had 2 goals scored by, I think it was Dale White, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't marking him for the second, but I was marking him for the first, so I hold my head up to the first one to a large extent. He just came through a sea of legs, and I didn't get a good view of it. But White is very good in those kind of situations. So.
Your last game, the grand final, Paul, in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, swan song for me. So it's a great note to go out on.
Not real bad, is it?
Mm.
Shocker, next to Paul is Zoran Svetkovsky there, who I thought had a great game. A young guy came into the side, came on as sub against Port Melbourne the other week and had a fine second half and extra time. And talking about the older guys cramping up, Zoran, I saw you getting stuck into and rubbing the back of the legs quite a few times there in the second half and extra time. How was that?
That was the worst feeling you could ever get in your life. I told the boys before the game that I might be struggling for match fitness, but told them I'd stay on the ground until they have to take me off of a stretcher.
So it looked like that wasn't far away, the way, the way you were going there.
It seemed to be like when I stretched my calf, I'd go cramp up in the quads. When I stretched my quads, I'd cramp up in the buttocks. And it's just like dominoes, it just kept going around.
Like, I didn't understand what quads were they? You'd understand what the other bit.
Oh, look, I have no idea what you're talking about, Shock.
Well, I'm on the wander again, Blakey. I'm on the wander again, but it's been a wonderful season for Ian Dobson's team, Altona Magic. And I must say, with all sincerity, we have a bit of go at each other, and that, but we're all soccer people, and I'd just like to say sincerely, apart from John Markowski's big rabbit punch, you know, and I'll tell you something, if you're looking out there tonight, John Markowski, I'll be looking for you next year, and I don't care if you play with Morwell Falcons or Melbourne Knights, I'll be there on the touchline and I'll still be bagging you. But I still like you, you're not a bad bloke. But it's not, Tom, there's a relation here, I better watch myself,
Well, if you're after him, he'll be at Heaven tonight, so if you want to meet him up there, want a rematch or something, he'll be there tonight.
Where?
Heaven.
I was in heaven when he hit me. I was going for all money. Now listen, I'd just like to apologise for keeping Karen Dobson on tenterhooks. That's Ian's lovely wife, because I got severe phone calls during the week, abusive phone calls, by the way, a lady's voice. No, I'm not saying it was anybody, but Karen, nice to talk to you again in the flesh this time. But what about a hand for the Altona Magic guys? Sensational.
We might for a moment let Shocker wend his way into the crowd. We've got to acknowledge too that we've got representatives of the Sunshine Georgies, also Albion. We've got a lot of sponsors in. We've also got the match referee, Eugene Brazali. We'll have a talk to him in a couple of minutes. But gentlemen, just to sum up the grand final and the final series, sensational really, wasn't it? The whole top 5 series, again, for the 4th year in succession, it's been terrific entertainment.
And a terrific grand final, and the whole final series was just a treat. Lots of action and lots of great players, a good standard of soccer. I mean, it goes to show that the Premier League is a very good standard competition, and perhaps marred a little bit by bad grounds in the wet weather. And as Ian Dobson said after the game, perhaps there's a case for playing more of the season in the better months of the year. And I think that's a very good point.
We have to pay credit too to Port Melbourne. I mean, what a fantastic season they had. They didn't make the grand final, but in the minor premiership they were absolutely outstanding, won it by 22 points. And that's what makes a great final series, upsets and high-scoring games.
And credit, of course, to Bulleen for making the grand final, because, I mean, 9 weeks into the year, you know, they couldn't score in Fitzroy Street. They were travelling terribly. And since that time, they've picked up, they've made it through to the grand final, record-breaking run. It's just the drama and the excitement of the finals. It got to me.
Let's remember also that Sunshine George Cross and Albion were desperately unlucky in the final series. I mean, they lost by the barest of margins.
Mate, the Sunshine Georges
Albion could have won that first game quite easily against...
Sunshine Georges were thumped.
Okay,
they
look,
were appalling.
Towards the end of the game in breakaway goals, they got hammered, but it was a close game nevertheless.
Laurie, the next time you get out of the western suburbs, we'll call it a public holiday over there, you know what I mean?
Don't let me over the West Side Red Sox.
Albion Red Sox, Sunshine Georgies, and talking about Sunshine George...
The quality is in the western suburbs, they all made it, right?
Are you talking about Footscray, or are you talking about real western suburbs?
Don't want to talk about Footscray.
Right, Laurie, the next time you come over the eastern suburbs, we'll take you up and show you some real trees. But talking about over in Sunshine, Blakey, there's got to be winners and there's got to be losers, but one of the teams that bowed out, unfortunately, I reckon, would have been Sunshine Georgies. I backed them in, and a bit of a dicky refereeing situation when they were 2-1 down against Bulleen. Jerry Conley went, well, this way, that way, and I'll get to the referees later because I've got Eugene Brazali here, and you know I love referees. John Canasulis, a bit disappointed with the Georgies this year, but a great season.
Yeah, it was disappointing from the club's point of view. I thought we could have gone to the finals and perhaps given it a bit of a rattle. But, you know, they're the breaks, I guess. You know, we bowed out on a bad note, but I'm sure that next year we can sort of correct our mistakes and go one further.
Got Mark Aretas there as well. Perhaps if I asked Mark.
Mark Aretas, one of my idols, one of the players I used to watch when I was about 12, but now he's getting a bit older looking now, but strength of the team and a good Georgies player, Blakey.
Mark, the situation was really that you'd kept the team together for a couple of years and this was supposed to be the year. What happens now?
Well, I think we just look to next year. Like John was saying as well, we had a bit of bad luck against Bulleen. I mean, like contrary to what you were saying, we got thumped. We, as everyone knows who was there, a couple of bad goals at the start. The third one, you know, as we were saying.
And Norm Doherty is a bit of a liability, isn't it? I hope you're watching, Normie.
Norm's pretty good. I think Norm's a good player.
That's Blakey's favourite player, by the way, in the whole world.